and then get in the car. But anyway, glad that you joined us this morning. Lot on tap. Not the biggest slate of college football today, obviously. Auburn taking on Sanford, Alabama taking on Western Carolina in preparation for the Iron Bowl next week. We'll discuss a lot of that. The only game I think of note, Penn State and Ohio State. We'll go down the slate today as we did yesterday on Auburn Blitz, but just not a big college football weekend. Rivalry weekend next Saturday, so we'll talk a lot about that. There is a lot going on in high school football. We were in the quarterfinals in 1A through 6A. We were in the semifinals last night with 7A. We'll run down those scores here as we get started and set up the matchups for next Friday as we're down to just a couple weeks now here in the Alabama High School Athletic Association schedule. Just crazy how fast the season has gone by. The last scoreboard show was last night with JJ and Luke, and they ran all those scores down and signed off. And I heard JJ and Luke last night as they were signing off. They're like, look, it's just crazy how fast it comes and it goes, and they're already looking forward to next year. So are we.
Well, here's the good time of this year. The good part of this year is you start getting into games every Friday where there has to be something, a shock when it's not a close football game. And last night we had a few here in the state of Alabama that got away from some teams, and it was surprising. But for the most part, we had some great football games. We had some teams that were expected to move on and did. We get a rematch in Class 7A of last year. You got to know the Alabaster community and Thompson High School wants to put a better face out there on the field than they did in that championship game last year, and they'll get their opportunity. And they didn't get it with a last-second win over Hoover. No. They got it with a commanding 14-point win over the Hoover Buccaneers.
4 in a row, right?
Yeah, 35-21 last night. Phoenix City. We've had some great teams in this state, Brett. We ain't had many better than this Phoenix City team.
Loaded. And Auburn, right out of the gate, going for it on 4th and 1 on their first possession, just kind of set the tone, kind of sent a message to their own team, sent a message to Phoenix City that we're going to have to come in here and do this kind of stuff to even have a chance. And when they didn't get the first down, Phoenix City went down and scored, and you kind of knew what was coming after that.
And I don't blame the coaching staff for making that decision, Brett, and the reason being they just played, 3 or 4 weeks ago?
Yeah.
And it was a runaway win for Phoenix City in that game where Phoenix City scored in the 40s. Mm-hmm. I don't think Auburn scored much at all. This is my recollection.
Yeah.
I'm not positive the final score of that one. So you go into this football game thinking, I just gave up 40-something to them. I better score all the points and take care of all the opportunities that I get, but Phoenix City doesn't give up many opportunities.
Let this sink in. Auburn hadn't allowed a touchdown in the playoffs up until then.
Wow.
Hadn't been scored on. So then they go over and kind of get their doors blown off last night.
We brought this up last week, and we'll carry it over today since we didn't have Brett on the program with us last week. I think a lot of high school football fans that like to keep up with history would go back to that Viger 88 team and say that that's the best team in state history. They went undefeated. They easily won a state championship game against Berry, which is Hoover, that was led by Stan White. Won 40-something to 7 in that football game. Electron Williams doesn't even play, and they win 40-something to 7. That's the only team in state history that earned a USA Today or any national publication national championship. Was that Viger 88 team. I said last week, there hasn't been many teams better than these two Phoenix City teams we've seen in the previous 2 years. They haven't had very many close football games, Brett.
Is Jamie Dubose one of the best coaches that's ever coached in this state? Obviously.
Are you asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
I believe that
you think he is the best coach that's ever coached?
I don't know that he is the best. I can't go out.
But look at the level. Look at what he's doing at the level. He's doing it at the highest level, and he's proven that no matter where he's been.
Here's what I think a lot of Coach Dubose, and you do too. So we'll get that on. We know him well. He's done some broadcasting with us. We'll go ahead and get that out there. Here's where I'm most impressed with him. He can go to a community and within a few years have that community more rabid than it was by a long shot than before. He did it at Florence. Now, he took over a program at Prattville that was a juggernaut, but he kept it there. And when Prattville came out on the field, they had 150 dressed. And yes, maybe only 30 or 40 of those played, Brett.
Yeah.
But they had 150 dressed, and to do that in any high school, you've got to be rabid. Now, he's at Phoenix City, who hadn't won a state championship since '93, which was my sophomore year in high school. I'm going to just throw a random number out there and guess that Phoenix City normally gets 70 to 80 out for football. You get is that fair?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
They have 140 dressed this year. So when you do that, you're doing something different. And yeah, he's in a great area of the state. There's a lot of areas of the state where within a 15-mile radius, you've got a lot of good players to choose from. A lot of the teams here in our local region, i.e. Auburn, Opelika, Phoenix City, many of those teams that are close to big cities have taken full advantage of having players transfer into their school and making their teams much, much better. So sometimes you'll get that knock over in that Columbus area. In specific sports. Russell County kind of gets it with baseball. But, dude, it's a very easy move for me to make a decision within a 10 or 15-mile radius that I want my kid coached by what I consider the best high school coach in that area if sports is that big for me. And they make that choice to go to him probably for a reason. And why wouldn't you want him playing for him, Brett? That's my question.
No, that's right. That's what you have to live with now.
Yeah.
That's what you have to deal with. And, you see it now in college. Basically there's no limits in what you can do now. If you don't want to play for this team, you can pack up your bags and you can move on and go somewhere else. And
another crazy part of this state and a crazy part of the country also is that you don't even have to go to the high school to play ball for. Tim Tebow set that
the
rule.
homeschool rule.
And so, yeah, you can just be living in an area, go choose the school that you just want to play ball for and get all of your schooling done at home. That's different. I bet you that's going on a lot more in other places than
the Tim Tebow rule. So, and that was a lot of controversy behind that.
Yeah.
That a lot of people felt like, and the ones that wrote the legislation on that felt like that if you want to go play for that high school, you need to go attend that high school. Yep. But now you got virtual schools. You got a lot of that's tied in. You got students that are tied in with a school system that don't physically go to the school, but they take the classes through the school through online education. So it's not like it was just even 25 years ago.
And it won't be. So go ahead and just brace yourself for what's to come. It is what it is. And those that you know who loses? Those that don't
change. Well, they don't change.
Willingness to change.
Well, I've said that all week on Auburn Blitz about Nick Saban and the difference between Gus Malzahn and Nick Saban. And I'm not comparing the two as coaches. I'm comparing the two that are in their philosophy. Gus Malzahn comes in 13, hadn't changed anything offensively. Nick Saban has very evidently and clearly changed his philosophy on defense and offense. And he's had to do it to stay at the top of the game. And if you're not willing to change, you get left behind. You get the same product. Because some people were tweeting on our page that, Coach Malzahn came in with an innovative offense in 13 and 14, but coaches finally caught up to it. Well, of course, good coaches are going to catch up to a concept to try to learn how to defend it. It's like playing chess. You got to turn around and you got to make another move. If you keep doing the same thing, now that they've made their changes, you're going to get 8-4 results, and that's what Auburn's doing. But that's kind of an analogy that I wanted to use there. But you're exactly right. The ones that sit in the corner and that don't try to stay up and that don't try to improve their facilities and that don't try to improve their program and enhance it to make other students want to come to their school, you're going to get left behind.
Totally agree. 256-234-6221 is our phone number every Saturday. Love to hear from you out there. Sunshine Heating and Air and JR Sports Bar and Grill are our two title sponsors for our Sports Blitz programming, so I want to thank all of you for tuning in out there. But if you were at high school games last night or you were listening in, Brett and I could only listen into a few and watch one, so we don't have that in-depth knowledge of what went on. We do have the scores right here, thanks to our good friend Ron Ingram of the state and all that they do to get the media out, and we cannot wait for the next couple of weeks where we'll be over to starting Class 7A. I'll segue you to Class 7A, Brett. You and I will be there on Wednesday night to call that championship game.
In 2 weeks.
And it's a rematch from last year, and I do expect this is a great Phoenix City squad, but I think this is a Thompson squad that's got a lot of talent too, and they had to have learned something from last year, don't you think?
You would hope so.
Yeah.
And, hey, look, there's sometimes you can learn something,
Yeah.
and it still not matter.
True.
And that may be the case for Thompson. It's not a knock on them. It'll be interesting. I think they'll approach the game differently. I don't think they'll get their doors blown off 2 years in a row. Mark Freeman's that kind of coach, so I think he'll have them prepared. We come back, we'll run down the scores from last night and kind of go through next week as we head in to the final part of the high school football schedule. Stay tuned, more of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill and Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
Find everything you need for the perfect outdoor living space at Russell Do-It Center, like the Fire Rock Outdoor Conventional Fireplace, smartly designed masonry systems that are easy to install and are less than half the cost of a scratch-built brick and mortar fireplace. Weber Grills, the best outdoor gas, electric, and charcoal grills, which always come pre-assembled. Yeti Coolers, premium coolers and accessories that are the ultimate in design, performance, and durability. Russell Do-It Center, experience and knowledge from the pros.
The same professionals you've trusted with your urgent care is now your primary health provider, Main Street Family Care. We provide annual physical exams as well as monitoring health conditions such as high blood pressure, diabetes, asthma, and more. All major insurances accepted, Medicaid, Medicare, and have self-pay options to accommodate everyone. See us in Alex City, just across from Walmart. Your care is our primary concern.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
Hi, I'm Kurt Bowman, General Manager of Vaden Toyota. We'd like to announce our new lifetime warranty on any new Toyota.
Hashtag lifetime warranty.
Hashtag we love our customers.
It can be used nationwide at no additional cost.
Hashtag customer service.
So come on by and let us show you
The Vaden way.
Hashtag maintenance matters.
Hashtag totally awesome.
Vaden Toyota of Sylacauga, just a short drive from home or online.
Hashtag your neighborhood dealership.
If you're seeing the American cockroach, throw up the red flag. Ladybugs, throw up the red flag. Ants and swarming termites, throw up the red flag. And kudzu bugs, throw up the red flag. That's Red Flag Pest Control. So the caution is on. Call Red Flag Pest Control today.
I'm Scott Davis with Red Flag Pest Control. Call me today, 256-825-0430.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kia of Auburn. Kia of Auburn on South College. New Kias at 0% APR financing and no payments for 90 days. Kia of Auburn. Kia of Auburn. Kia of Auburn.com.
This is Coach Pat Dye. At Kia of Auburn, you are always number one.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. We're glad that you joined us this morning. We're going to go on and go down the scores from last night in the high school. I tell you, man, there's some games, some teams, when you get to this point in the season and this point in the playoffs, tough to see them go, man. Some of them no losses, some won losses. And you're playing somebody across the way that's as good or better than you. That's what happens when you whittle it down to this point, and it's no different last night. And I think the story in 7A is maybe we've seen an official changing of the guard in Birmingham with Hoover going down 35-21, as you mentioned in the opener. This is 4 in a row for Thompson. You beat somebody 4 times in a row, it's not a fluke. And to think where Hoover has been for the last 15 to 18 years, and to now see another team in that area that's kind of taking the baton from them, it's got to be a tough pill to swallow for Josh Niblett and that group up there, and to see somebody that really went from being irrelevant in football for a long time to being where they are now.
Well, tip your hat to the Alabaster community. I said it 4, 5, 6 years ago. You and I sat up here probably in these same two spots, and I looked across at you, and I said, with the talent base, with the tax money that they have sitting in Alabaster, with a new school that potentially is coming, which we didn't know what it would look like, you just had heard, with that coach coming up from Spanish Fort and Mark Freeman, there's only a matter of time before he has something built. I never in my wildest dreams thought he'd get it to this point that quick, Brett. I knew he was great. I knew greatness was in him. I knew that you had interviewed practically every great coach in this state, and I don't know of one that you talked more glowingly about than Mark Freeman over the years. Would you agree with that?
Very, very nice and humble when I've had the chance to meet with him.
And so I knew what kind of dynamic offensive mind that he had, but you have to question.
And to go from selling cars in Bessemer, Alabama.
You have to question, can you build a program up from scratch? And that's what you had to do at Thompson. They had no winning tradition there.
And had a tall mountain to climb with who you had in your region. It's not like he just went to some region or some school in the state, decided to build them up.
But you're in a perfect part of the state where, again, you can knock players, coaches, whoever that makes decisions to go from one school to the next or live in one area or the next. It's so much different than here in Central Alabama and some of the cities that we live in. Well, unless you plan to move communities, you go to school here.
Mm-hmm.
And it is so different when you live on 31 that's 5-10 miles from 5 different high schools, and all of them are really, really good, to decide where's your best fit.
That's right.
You can, maneuver and move where you want to go. And you have to think that a lot of that's going on in certain parts of the state, and I just have zero problem with it. When you get great coaches, you get great facilities, when you put the money and you put the emphasis towards the things that are important, you get what you get, and that's what you're getting at Thompson.
Well, you only have one shot at it when you come through.
Yeah.
And if you're a kid playing football or any sport, and you're a parent that's trying to decide, do you want your kid to play for somebody that can win a championship and have that as a lasting memory? So that's the decision being made.
I still will jump out there. I hope that everyone stays positive in the Hoover community and no one kind of goes throwing blame towards coaches and administration and stuff, because you tend to do that. There is not one any better than Niblett. That guy can coach, he can lead. I think he's exceptional.
You know how fans are, though.
I know they are. I just want to throw that out there.
I think that's why you felt like you needed to say that.
Well, it's a tough environment when the expectation is state championship or nothing.
Well, they built that. And and Josh Niblett's part of that issue.
About a decade ago, I don't think he'd mind me saying this, I'm going to say it. About a decade ago, we had a conversation with Coach Sal, and maybe I was the one that initiated this conversation. But it was something to the point of, wouldn't it be better, Coach, if a few other teams from the north could get through to a state championship sometime? Wouldn't that be a good thing for the state? And this was his answer, and he was dead on. He said, you know what? Hoover has been the beacon carrier here in this state for a long, long time. And they have risen high school football up to a point that if everybody else doesn't decide that they're going to take their play, take everything that goes along with building a great program up to the level that they have built, they're going to keep getting beat. And there's nothing.
And he's right, because why should they be penalized for doing things the way they do?
Great.
That's right.
It's the same with Alabama right
Why would
now.
you want to bring somebody down?
So I say that, and you have seen a lot of teams from that part of the state really take what they used to do 10 or 15 years ago, and it looks completely different. And that I think, is going to make high school football in general here in this state just keep getting better, because you have
Thompson's
to get better
a good example. I know they're in 7A, but they're a good example to a lot of communities.
Yeah.
Look, you can go from irrelevancy to the top of the mountain in a very small amount of time. If you're willing to dedicate and put the time in and put the resources in and show that that's important to you.
And I know that this is maybe a stretch, but I have to believe that the city of Alabaster and Thompson saw what they did with wrestling, and they said that we can replicate that. We can get kids, we can get coaches, we can go out there in the community and get money driven towards a product like they did in wrestling, and we can change this thing in a short period of time. And I have to believe that because they came from nowhere. They didn't have a program. Now they are the best program in this state. Every once in a while you'll get a Vestavia or somebody that'll jump up there and compete with them. But Brett, they win it every year. Some years they win it like they're breaking Benjamin Russell's old records of point scoring in championship. And we know that Benjamin Russell used to go and win 6 or 7 individuals and place 3 or 4 more out of 13 that would finish second or third. It was nuts. And
Crazy.
Now they're doing that in each weight class. So I have to believe that they saw the writing on the wall that if we kind of carry on what we're doing here into some other sports that we can be special, and they have.
Very much so. Again, I think they're a good example to a lot of communities. Maybe you don't have that size community. Maybe you don't have the same things. I'm not comparing one community versus another. I know every community is created differently, but it's an example of what you want to dedicate your resources to and what you want to emphasize is important. You know, it may be something else that you want to emphasize, but if you put the time and the effort and the money and the resources in, you can be successful. Phoenix City, no problem at home last night against Auburn. So your matchup for 7A is Thompson and Phoenix City, a rematch of last year. As you mentioned in the first segment, we'll be over in 2 Wednesdays to call that game. I don't know who can get in front of this runaway train that Phoenix City is right now. Again, Phoenix City has been a good program for a long time. They've had a lot of talent come through that school, and they've had some good coaches, but those guys couldn't get the team over the hump. Jamie Dubose comes over there, and almost every single year he's been there, it's been semifinals or finals now. They get over the hump last year and they win the state championship. They finally navigate their way through and they win it. So, again, a program that was kind of lost on how to get to the next level. And Jamie Dubose does that. I know we're up against our next break. We come back, we'll talk more about that and continue running scores down. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Growing your business isn't just one thing, it's a million little things. Should you lease, rent, or own? How fast can you get that part? Does it fit the budget? That's what your local Cat dealer is here for. With expert advice, flexible financing, and industry-leading equipment, you can get the job done, day after day. Visit ThompsonCat.com, your compact equipment provider.
WOTM, your new home for high school sports in Alabama. The road to Jordan-Hare goes through WOTM every Friday night with live playoff coverage. Tune in to WOTM this Friday with the Class 7A South semifinal. Auburn traveling to Phoenix City to take on the defending state champion Central Red Devils. The broadcast will also feature live in-game highlights and updates from the 7A North semifinal featuring the Hoover Bucks and the Thompson Warriors. Stay with WOTM December 4th through 6th for exclusive TV coverage of the Super 7 live from Jordan-Hare.
What's behind the CA?
A world full of opportunities.
Where are you now? Where are you going?
Where do you want to be?
These are all important in determining your path in life.
More importantly, why be ordinary
when you can be extraordinary?
At Central Alabama Community College, you can be anything you wish to be.
Don't put your future on hold and don't settle for less than excellence.
We are Central Alabama Community College.
Central to you.
Central to your success.
Be the hostess with the mostest this holiday season at Chicken Salad Chick with our easy party catering. Need a quick appetizer? Stop by Chicken Salad Chick and grab a quick chick of any chicken salad flavor or the pimento cheese ball covered with crushed pecans and crispy bacon. Remember, no meal is complete without a sweet treat. For a limited time, our pumpkin cheesecake is back and it's delicious. Chicken Salad Chick can feed any holiday crowd with our custom fit catering. 12 flavors of chicken salad, there's sure to be something for every taste bud.
Skag, the toughest name in lawnmowers. Unmatched quality and performance for over 3 decades. The clear choice, the best mower money can buy for work or at home. Top lawn care professionals and discerning homeowners know that Skag means productivity and reliability. Every Skag mower is proudly built right here in the USA. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best. Skag.
Satterfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City.
So, you may not know it, but you've seen our work everywhere. For a combined 50 years, SignSource has been Central Alabama's premier option for all your sign needs. Custom signs for your business, club, or organization. Wraps and decals for your vehicle or boat. Full-color banners for your big sale, or a photo collage on canvas for grandma. All with fast, friendly, prompt service. Check out our website at signsourcenow.com. 888-533-6758. Go straight to the source. SignSource.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. Again, I want to thank JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air for their long-time support. We'll talk about some AISA scores here at this Chambers Academy. I will say that for our good friend Kevin Keel, they fell yesterday in the state championship game to a good Southern team. So as a team they beat earlier in the season, and he told me going into that game that they knew they were going to have a tough game on their hands, and it wasn't going to be easy. And that game was scoreless for 3 quarters, I believe. I don't think anybody got on the board until the 4th quarter. So we'll talk a little bit more about that here in just a little bit. 6A, obviously Pinson Valley, your 2-time defending 6A champs, they move on. It was tough. They knew it was going to be. They beat a 12-0 at the time Muscle Shoals team, 26-14. So Pinson Valley's hopes of three-peating are still alive. They'll play Oxford, who narrowly escapes Clay Chalkville last night. Clay Chalkville led that game in the second half. Oxford comes back and wins. So a lot of people predicted this matchup for the semifinals a long time ago. Kind of eyed these two teams in the way they played, and Pinson Valley and Oxford should be a war next Friday night.
Another coach that can get it done here in the state, Keith Etheridge. You know, that guy has just taken teams and put them in championship environments and won them when he's gotten them there, and he's got a good offensive mind, I think. And Oxford just got a good football team this year. And
they've been on the cusp a long time, too. They haven't been able to win.
They're a lot like – there's 2 teams left in Class 6A that I hope one or the other gets through and wins championship this year, because they've been knocking on the door and they can consistently put a very good product out there, and that's the next you're about to come to is Opelika. Oxford, Opelika, those 2 communities deserve a state championship, and they would travel no matter where they were. They'd have a big turnout wherever it was. So Oxford and Opelika.
Yeah, Oxford and Opelika. If those 2 end up meeting up in 6A, something got to give, at that point in time. We'll move down to the south and talk about that game. Opelika 45-24 over Hueytown. Again, this Opelika team just scores a lot of points. They've done it all season long. They give up points, but they kind of have that mentality of a Thompson. We're going to give some points up, but we just want the ball last. We want to see how many possessions we can get offensively, and Eric Speakman's done a tremendous job over at Opelika, and he's got them right there on the cusp. They'll have to play a team that's been used to this for a long time. Spanish Fort knocks off Park Crossing 28-21. This is a 5-5 Spanish Fort team going into to the playoffs, and Park Crossing had a 4-6 record going into the playoffs. But you looked at Park Crossing's schedule, the Phoenix Cities, the Auburns, the Clay Chalkvilles, the teams they went out and solicited to get to play this year outside of their region. They were ready, and Park Crossing and Spanish Fort was a back and forth game. Spanish Fort right back in the semifinals again.
No surprise. Great coaching. And the Blackman brother over there at Spanish Fort will be taking on the
Ben.
Opelika. And, so we don't have both brothers there anymore, whereas Brian's moved on and is coaching in college. But still, you have that feel and you have that background that goes on there. And Opelika, it's a great setup for them, Brett. This is not the juggernaut Pinson Valley team we've seen over the years. They got great athletes, probably, I think, the best athlete in the state in Kool-Aid McKinstry. But outside of that, they aren't quite what they were when Bo was, calling the shots over there at quarterback. So it's a great setup for Oxford and Opelika. I'm not cheering for both of them. Don't get me don't get that confused.
Yeah.
I just at times you like to see communities that have been knocking on the door get through it.
That's your 6A scores. We'll move over to 5A now. Central Clay, no problem with Madison County. 11-2 now on the season for Central Clay. They win 43-15 defense. They struggled earlier in the season with defense. They've got that dialed in. Offense hadn't been a problem for them all year long. They continue to score points. They'll take on Mortimer Jordan in a rematch, 32-14. Mortimer Jordan defeated Center Point. Central Clay and Mortimer Jordan met in the semifinals last year. How will this one end up this time?
Mortimer Jordan won that football game against Center Point fairly easily last night,
did.
which was a shock because that's a very talented and good program there at Center Point. I can't go through the segment. Danny Horn's a machine. He is an utter machine. When he gets programs built and going in the direction and bought into the vision and what he's selling, we ain't had them any better.
Nobody does it any better.
Coach DuBose is the best. Yeah, I think Coach DuBose has proven at the top level that he's as good. And Danny hasn't had the opportunity to coach a 7A school. And I think they're different types of coaches. But I think you stick Danny in a community where football is a passion, like it is in Clay County area, he can take that program as far as anyone can. And they just are.
You don't forget how to win.
No,
you just don't.
And they've given up scores early. The last 2 weeks, I think they've given up touchdowns on the opening drive for both teams. Last week they don't give up any more points after that. This week they only give up 8. After that, they're doing something and doing it well. But they've been a juggernaut on the offensive side. Quentin Knight last night, I think, had 240 yards rushing, Brett, on 18 carries. I was going to mention Opelika had a back go for 330 last night. Their junior go for 330 against Hueytown. You're getting some big-time players.
Teams that run the football, man. It doesn't matter if it's high school or college. Can get it done. On the north side in 5A, Briarwood, old defensive struggle. They beat Bibb County 7-3, and Pleasant Grove 51-22 winners over Ramsey. Heard a lot about this Pleasant Grove team. I don't know a lot about them. And Caleb, who's been all over this state for us, interviewing coaches, interviewing players for our Players of the Week, and has been able to see a lot of high schools that none of us have been able to see. He said, I'm telling you, you better watch Pleasant Grove. He said, this team is, to use your term, a machine. To beat Ramsey 51-22.
That's impressive. Because Ramsey's coached up as well as anyone out there.
That's eye-opening right there.
And
in
they
5A.
play physical, and Ramsey will get after you. And I can't remember any games in a long time that Ramsey hadn't been in them. And they let that one get away from them. So, yeah, that is an eye-opening score.
Yeah, Pleasant Grove will match up against Briarwood Christian, and Mortimer Jordan and Central Clay will get together again.
Any of those four could win a state championship. Isn't that good?
5A it's a good classification all the way around. Just a lot of good football teams. In that classification, we'll slide over and start talking about 4A. Man, talk about old school. Anniston, 30-13 over Deschler last night. The Anniston Bulldogs have risen from the ashes, man. That program had gone away, had become irrelevant for a long time. And you and I remember them when we were in school and how good they were. And then just kind of overnight, things changed. Those communities changed up there. Again, people moving around. But they found themselves, and I know they've dropped a couple classifications, but they found a home in 4A, and they won convincingly over a team that is always in the mix in Deschler. They won 30-13, and then Jacksonville good Lord, put the points on north side. 63-27 there in the north side of 4A. I know we got to get to our next break. We come back, Randy. I'll get your thoughts on this Anniston Bulldog team, and we'll continue to run down the rest of the scores. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill and Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
WOTM, your new home for high school sports in Alabama. The road to Jordan-Hare goes through WOTM every Friday night with live playoff coverage. Tune in to WOTM this Friday with the Class 7A South semifinal. Auburn traveling to Phoenix City to take on the defending state champion Central Red Devils. The broadcast will also feature live in-game highlights and updates from the 7A North semifinal featuring the Hoover Bucks and the Thompson Warriors. Stay with WOTM December 4th through 6th for exclusive TV coverage of the Super 7 live from Jordan-Hare.
Hey Realtors, do you know about LMG Ad Agency? We build your brand and help sell your properties or a unique lifestyle so you can focus on your clients. We focus on professional photos, videos, aerial photography and videography, and commercial real estate. We'd love to tell your story. Contact us today at 256-392-4250 or visit our website at lmgadagency.com.
Since the dawn of time, mankind has needed tools. But not all tools are created equal. AGF Machine Rental Sales and Service has tools for all commercial construction or big residential projects. AGF Machinery offers the most durable and hardworking brands of ASV, Skyjack, and Wacker Neuson. Aerial lifts, scissor lifts, loaders, excavators, and forest equipment on demand for the best possible price. And backed by the Southeast's best team of professionals. Visit any of our strategic locations across Alabama for all your equipment needs. Or online at agfmachinery.com.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors. A&M Plumbing, A&M Plumbing, service at its best when you need it most.
From the smallest drippy faucet to drain cleaning to water heater replacement to gas lines to total systems replacement, A&M Plumbing handles it all. Visit amplumbing.net today for the experienced, licensed, and insured pros at A&M Plumbing.
A&M Plumbing, A&M Plumbing, service at its best when you need it most.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown here. Continuing to run down scores here in the first hour. We're going to get to college football. It is not some glorious slate of college football today. So I know it's raining. If you got some other stuff you might want to do, be productive. If you got some walls that need to be painted or whatever, you're not going to miss anything as far as college football is concerned today. Auburn kicks off at 11. Does Alabama kick off at 11 today?
No clue. Care less.
We'll get to that here in a little bit. The reason I say that is, man, I'm not sure there's going to be many people there at 11 o'clock and pouring rain, and you're playing Sanford. No offense, Sanford has nothing to do with you, but man, that's going to be a dull environment. We'll continue running scores down as we just talked about in 4A. Anniston with a big win, 30-13 over Deschler. They'll take on Jacksonville, who won no problem, 63-27. That'll be your semifinal in the north side. In the south, Andalusia, 24-0 over American Christian. That's a convincing win over a very good American Christian team. UMS Wright, they just keep doing what they do. 21-0 over Montgomery Catholic. Montgomery Catholic was only 12-0, so they had they just played some chump change. Montgomery Catholic, a lot of people felt like may be the team to upset UMS Wright. No, not going to happen. And Terry Curtis just continues to win. We've named several coaches today.
Yep.
Danny Horn, Jamie Dubose, Terry Curtis. The ones that we keep naming. They just know how to win, and it doesn't matter what year it is or what group of kids they have or whatever, their system, they just know how to get it done. And he's another one.
We need to find out who's coaching Anniston, because whoever's doing that is doing a masterful job.
This is Thompson-ish.
Yes.
They brought them from total obscurity to where they are now.
Yeah, we've seen some Anniston squads over the last 20 years that were nowhere near what we
getting the doors blown off.
Watching, and that was one of those that I talked about last week when we went into what's the best high school team you've ever seen. I watched that Steve Christopher and Orlando Waters team beat Benjamin Russell by 50-something. Did you go over for that massacre? Do you remember that massacre?
I don't remember it.
Oh, it looked like a JV squad taking on Central Phoenix City. They beat us so bad, and we were an 8 or 9 win team that year.
Yeah.
But that was one of the best teams I think the state ever produced, and they were just high powered, and they won 2 state championships in a 4-year span, because they ended up winning again in '94, which was your senior year.
It was my senior year.
Yeah, your senior year, and Montressa Kirby was their quarterback, and they had great. Quentin Caver was their linebacker. They had great athletes all over the field. Then, and they went on and won a state championship. So they won 2 out of 4 in the top classification 25 years ago.
Who was it they beat? West End?
I think so. They beat West End that year. And that was Quentin Reese's West End team.
That's exactly right. So interesting stuff there. A little history for you this morning. In Class 3A, Walter Wellborn defeats Randolph County 27-20. Randolph County is a perennial third, fourth round team. And you feel for programs. You named off a few earlier in the Opelika's and the Oxfords that have great programs that just can't seem to get over the hump. And Randolph County is another one of those programs down in 3A. Finished with an 11-2 record. Only lost by a touchdown last night to a very good Walter Wellborn team that's 12-1 on the season, but just can't seem to take that next step.
We had that question last week while you weren't here. Scott asked me, would I rather have a program like that I cheer for, or one that is consistently mediocre, and then one year they jump up and they win a state championship and they go back to mediocrity again? Man, give me that. I want to think.
Well, because if you do that enough, you
gotta
think
get over the hump, and not only that.
But for some of these programs, they have it. And it's been over 2-3 decades.
It just tells you how hard it is.
It is. So when you do win one, and you
take
get there, it's real special. Piedmont, another one of those coaches that just knows how to win, and Steve Smith, 33-7 over Geraldine. That was an 8-5 Geraldine team. So, but again, a team that obviously was playing good football. Piedmont had no problem. In the South Side, Mobile Christian finds themselves right back in a situation to have a shot at it. They beat Gordo 41-21. That was a 12-0 Gordo team that they beat. T.R. Miller 14-12 winners over Flomaton. So T.R. Miller was Jamie Riggs' Hall of Fame coach forever, won a ton of games, one of the winningest coaches in state history. When he retired, T.R. Miller kind of took a step back, because it's hard to replace guys like him.
That's right.
And now they find themselves back in the hunt. They're back in the semifinals, a 9-4 record there in 3A football. So
special program, one of the top 5 winningest programs in state history, if my mind serves me, or my memory serves me right. And they can get it done, and they can support. When things are going well, they can support as well as anyone, and you'll see that with T.R. Miller in the next couple of rounds if they're able to hold on.
That's right. Over in 2A, Leroy will start in the South here. Leroy over Ayrton, 35-24, and Reeltown here locally, 41-22 winners over GW Long. that'll be a clash of the titans of old school football there in Class 2A with Reeltown and Leroy. Reeltown with a convincing win over GW Long.
Maybe their best game of the season. You know, that's a good GW Long team, and they win convincingly like that, scoring 41 points. This is a super talented Reeltown team that's got a great coach in Matt Johnson, that's got the whole community fired up about what they're doing. That's a group of, or that's a team, and that's a community that's used to winning. They won championships before. This is not their first rodeo to go and be involved in big games like this. But they're taking on a squad that's the same way. Leroy's used to being here and expects to be here every year.
Yeah, they do. In the north, Collinsville over North Sand Mountain, 37-28. Sounds like basketball, doesn't it? Yeah. That went up in Birmingham. We hear those two teams. 5 13-0. Red Bay was 12-0.
Were they?
Scored 6 points last night.
That was late.
45-6. Yeah, it was late. That must have been against some second and third teamers. But Fife gets you into their game. I've watched them enough at these state championships, and you go, man, how do they do what they do? And then you look across, and we've seen them play some unbelievable athletic teams. Well, they just take that out of the mix. Man, they pack everybody in there as tight as they can get, and there'll be 10 men right there within, you can't pack them tighter than they pack them. There'll be one lone safety back there, to prevent somebody squirting through, and they'll squirt one through. They'll pound it for 2 or 3 yards, and all of a sudden one guy slip through and hit it for 60, 70 yards and score a touchdown, or they'll just methodically go down the field and wear you down like that. And then what they'll do is they'll kick off to you, and you'll go 3 and out. They'll play defense, and they'll force you a 3 and out, and then you'll have to punt from deep in your own territory, and they'll get the ball back around midfield somewhere, and they'll go back in that tight formation, and they'll just kind of like a bulldozer, kind of just slowly grade their way back down the field, and all of a sudden you look up, it's the end of the first quarter, it's 14-0, 5. And it feels like a completely uphill battle from that point. I just watched them just kill the will of 13-0 football teams and 14-0 football teams that come in to these state championship games. It's unbelievable. They did it to Red Bay last night. Red Bay had a tremendous year, 12-1. They got beat 45-6 in a quarterfinal game. Up against another break. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
The same professionals you've trusted with your urgent care is now your primary health provider, Main Street Family Care. We provide annual physical exams as well as monitoring health conditions such as high blood pressure, diabetes, asthma, and more. All major insurances accepted, Medicaid, Medicare, and have self-pay options to accommodate everyone. See us in Alex City, just across from Walmart. Your care is our primary concern.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
WOTM, your new home for high school sports in Alabama. The road to Jordan-Hare goes through WOTM every Friday night with live playoff coverage. Tune in to WOTM this Friday with the Class 7A South semifinal. Auburn traveling to Phoenix City to take on the defending state champion Central Red Devils. The broadcast will also feature live in-game highlights and updates from the 7A North semifinal featuring the Hoover Bucks and the Thompson Warriors. Stay with WOTM December 4th through 6th for exclusive TV coverage of the Super 7 live from Jordan-Hare.
Growing your business isn't just one thing, it's a million little things. Should you lease, rent, or own? How fast can you get that part? Does it fit the budget? That's what your local cat dealer is here for. With expert advice, flexible financing, and industry-leading equipment, you can get the job done, day after day. Visit ThompsonCat.com, your compact equipment provider.
Expect it or not, the loss of a loved one is difficult. Put your family first by planning ahead. This is Joseph Dean, new owner of Alabama Funeral Homes and Cremation Centers. We are a full-service funeral home with an on-site crematory and cemetery. Whether your need is immediate or you would like to plan in advance, our experienced, compassionate staff can assist you in designing an enduring memorial experience, burial, or cremation. Alabama Funeral Homes and Cremation Centers on Highway 280 in Camp Hill or online, alabamafuneralhomes.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kia
0% APR financing and no payments for 90 days.
Kia of Auburn. Kia of Auburn. Kia of Auburn.com.
This is Coach Pat Dye. At Kia of Auburn, you are always number one.
I'm Jimmy Goree with Goree's Furniture. We would like to invite you to come shop our huge selection of furniture. But if you don't have time, we have over 2,000 items you can have shipped directly to your home. Go to GoreesFurniture.com, look for 48-hour quick ship. Shop, click, ship, it's just that easy. You can shop us here, or you can shop us online, only at Goree's Furniture.
Your expressway to saving.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown, final segment here in hour number one. Finishing up scores in 1A. I mean, just another Fife. I mean, they give up points. They don't shut people down like Fife do, but I'm telling you, man, they score as much as they want to score and as often as they want to score. Mars Hill Bible, if you hadn't heard of them, not a lot of people have. They're very young. It's a very small, it's a small school, obviously. It's a private school up around Florence. They win 42-21 over to Decatur Heritage last night. Decatur Heritage was only 12-0 going into the game. So, and I think Decatur Heritage had pretty much done to them or done to their opponents what Mars Hill did to them last night. So, juggernaut. Pickens County wins on the other side, 31-24. Pickens County 11-2 on the season. They now will take on the juggernaut Mars Hill Bible. Y'all had a great season, Pickens County. On the south side, Lynette 12-0, maybe one of the best players in the state in Christian Story, 41-21. He breaks Bo Nix's touchdown record last night. Sweetwater 38-35 winners over Brantley. So Sweetwater, another one of those teams that when we were starting this with HSA, we said, are they going to be here every single year? And they kind of went away for a little while, but now Sweetwater's climbed back. It'll be Sweetwater and Lynette, and then Pickens County and Mars Hill Bible. That's your semifinal matchup 1A.
You got to think that potential matchup with Lynette and that potential matchup with them against Mars Hill Bible, if those two teams get through, would set up a good matchup for Mars Hill Bible because they're going to be playing one of the best athletes that we've seen in Clifford Story, the coach, and his son. Now it's kind of funny how we've had two coaches and two sons now break lots of records here in this state, and we've seen that recently. But I watched a lot of the highlights from last night. He's a man amongst boys out there.
Christian Story's a phenomenal player, and we watched him since he was real small, and as he's moved up through the ranks and got to Lynette High School. We heard about him in youth league over there. We heard about him, in middle school, and then now you see what he's able to do over there. Look, it's very similar to Boobie Whitlow at Lafayette. We kept hearing about Boobie Whitlow, and y'all got to watch this Chartavius Whitlow kid over at Lafayette. And we'd go on there and we'd watch film, and we're like, good Lord. And now you see what he's doing. He's a starting tailback in the SEC, and yeah, he's had some injury issues at Auburn, but he's a real deal. I mean, these kids, when they're no-brainers in high school, they usually end up being really good football players in college. Let's run down the pairings one more time now that we've gone down through the scores. In 6A, let me start in 7A because it's in the championship game now. They'll play in 2 Wednesdays. Thompson versus Phoenix City. It's a rematch of last year's matchup where Phoenix City had no problem running away with that title. It'll be interesting to see what Mark Freeman does in this game.
And expected, I truly do expect it to be a much better football game. I think that Thompson is hungry to prove to the state that they can bring what the northern half of the state's providing in football over here to play against what has been the best here in the state of Alabama the last few years, and that's Phoenix City.
Yeah, no doubt. Class 6A, we're in semifinals now, 6A through 1A. Opelika at Spanish Fort, so Opelika will have to travel to the Daunted Hill down there. not many people come out alive.
No.
When you travel to Spanish Fort.
Opelika's the best team I've seen for Opelika was that Jake Bentley led team back in 2015, and they go down there and turn the football over several times and come away
The week
with
before
loss.
we had to play them.
Yeah.
So tough sledding there, but Opelika's got the team to go down there and do it if they can play mistake-free. Pinson Valley will have to go to Oxford there. Pinson Valley trying to win their third consecutive state championship in 6A. In Class 5A at Central Clay County, the defending 5A champs traveling to Mortimer Jordan. Both teams 11-2. Pleasant Grove on the north side will go to Briarwood Christian, a matchup of two 12-1 teams there. Pleasant Grove really just hadn't had any close games here in the last several weeks. It's going to be interesting to see who plays their way out of those two semifinal matchups. In 4A, Anniston at Jacksonville and Andalusia at UMS Wright. UMS Wright going for another state title. Terry Curtis just knows how to get the Bulldogs in position every single year. In Class 3A, Walter Welborn will travel to Piedmont, and T.R. Miller will go to Mobile Christian. In Class 2A, Leroy will go to Reeltown, so the Reeltown Rebels will host that fourth-round semifinal matchup against a good Leroy Bear team, and then Collinsville will travel to Fife. And again, I just don't. I mean, what do you say? I mean, it's Collinsville, a 12-1 team, and I wouldn't be shocked.
It's an opportunity for Collinsville or anyone that's taking on some of these juggernauts to just.
Well, I wouldn't be shocked to see.
Provide a massive shock, but it'd be a shock to the system to see them not make it to the championship.
Yeah, no doubt. And in 1A, as you mentioned, Christian Story-led Lynette team will go to Sweetwater. Man, that should be a good football game.
Agree.
That'll be an environment down there. It's back in the day, tough to win at Sweetwater. And Morris Hill Bible, the team that has emerged as the 1A powerhouse, will be at Pickens County. So a 13-0 Morris Hill team will have to travel to Pickens County. And we've seen Pickens County in state championship games. The Tornadoes seem to have a program that gets them to this point every single year with a shot to play for a state title. So some really good semifinal matchups all the way throughout the state next Friday night. 7A obviously will be off, waiting on that championship game, which will start that following Wednesday at Jordan-Hare Stadium. It will be back in Auburn at Jordan-Hare Stadium for the state championships because they began construction on Bryant-Denny this week in the renovation process and doing some things differently and reshaping Bryant-Denny Stadium. So Tuscaloosa asked that Auburn host it once again. So they obliged. So the Iron Bowl will be in Auburn next Saturday, and then they'll turn around on Wednesday and get ready to play a 7A state championship.
HSA Radio Network will be over to call those games, all 7 of them from the Super 7, throughout our affiliate listing here in the state of Alabama, and you can check out our website and social media outlets to find all of those radio stations here in the state that will be pulling us in. Brett and I will be calling the game on Wednesday night, and we'll be calling all 3 nightcaps for the HSA Radio Network. So I'm thrilled about that and looking forward to year 12, Brett. Year 12 of the network.
12 or 13. I have to go back and look.
They start piling on top of one another, and
they get here quick.
Yeah, and it will be fun. And if you haven't been able to go over and take in the games at either Jordan-Hare Stadium or Bryant-Denny are coming up, which I'm real excited about, the new facility over in Birmingham, which will be in rotation as well. Maybe we should talk about that in the second hour. But man, it's going to be fun. It's going to take us down in downtown Birmingham and get to check out the new facility. And
it's a good place to hang out.
It's a good place to hang out and always a good place to take in football.
Up against our top of the hour break. Don't go anywhere. College football coming up in hour number 2. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Since the dawn of time, mankind has needed tools. But not all tools are created equal. AGF Machine Rental Sales and Service has tools for all commercial construction or big residential projects. AGF Machinery offers the most durable and hardworking brands of ASV, Skyjack, and Wacker Neuson. Aerial lifts, scissor lifts, loaders, excavators, and forest equipment on demand for the best possible price. And backed by the Southeast's best team of professionals. Visit any of our strategic locations across Alabama for all your equipment needs. Or online at agfmachinery.com.
So, you may not know it, but you've seen our work everywhere. For a combined 50 years, Sign Source has been Central Alabama's premier option for all your sign needs. Custom signs for your business, club, or organization. Wraps and decals for your vehicle or boat. Full-color banners for your big sale, or a photo collage on canvas for grandma. All with fast, friendly, prompt service. Check out our website at signsourcenow.com. 888-533-6758. Go straight to the source. Sign Source.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
WOTM, your new home for high school sports in Alabama. The road to Jordan-Hare goes through WOTM every Friday night with live playoff coverage. Tune in to WOTM this Friday with the Class 7A South semifinal. Auburn traveling to Phoenix City to take on the defending state champions Central Red Devils. The broadcast will also feature live in-game highlights and updates from the 7A North semifinal featuring the Hoover Bucks and the Thompson Warriors. Stay with WOTM December 4th through 6th for exclusive TV coverage of the Super 7 live from Jordan-Hare.
J.A. Smith Construction, with 19 years experience, is your trusted choice for construction. Site clearing and grading for new home construction, basement excavation, concrete paving, storm drain installation, fish ponds, and slough dredging. No job is too big or too small. Call Alexander at J.A. Smith Construction at 334-531-0199 or email asmith@jasmithconstruct.com. J.A. Smith Construction, your trusted choice for construction.
Welcome back, everyone, to the
You
Sports
going to the
Blitz.
game today?
No, I'm not getting anywhere near being outside in this today. Man, it's unfortunate because you want it to be a pretty day no matter who you're playing, but when you sandwich a 11 o'clock kickoff with 100% chance of storms on top of a out of conference opponent. That doesn't equal up to be a lot of people in the stand. So it's going to be a blasé environment, to say the least.
I can tell you where there will not be a blasé environment. Vincent Early just called in, and want to thank Vincent for all that he does for high school athletics here in this state with WOTM, the Alabama Cable Network. Next Friday night, they will be on the road down at Spanish Fort for that Spanish Fort and Opelika game. So you can tune that one in here in the state. On the statewide television outlet, Alabama Cable Network and WOTM. Man, that's a good pick.
Whew.
That's a good game to go and watch.
I think that one will be.
Who knows?
Yeah.
If Opelika goes into Spanish Fort and wins, really, even though I think Opelika's got the team to win the state championship, if they pull that one off, it'll be a shock because not many teams have gone in there and come out alive.
I don't know that they've ever lost a semifinal game at home.
Boy, we watched one that still.
I
still lose sleep over it today. Up 27-10 at halftime.
Just in full control.
Full control, and they come back out and tip your hat to them, run it down our throats that I never would have thought would have happened.
Never.
And just great coaching, great job by them to
end up finding out Tyler Johnson pretty much had a partially separated shoulder in that game. Couldn't really throw the ball, so they went straight to running it. And so that you would think that would be opposite of what you need to do in a 27-10 game when you're trying to come back. So you're going to be predicated to having to run pretty much back to get back in it, and they did. Alabama too is kicking off at 11, but the rain will have moved away from
I
Tuscaloosa.
think there'll be a big fan support over for that one, too.
Yeah, Western Carolina. Big 3-8 team that Sanford beat last week. I want to say 31-7.
Good ball club.
I mean, the
Take your
Catamount.
payday, go home.
Yeah, that's what they're getting, is a check. So we'll get over to some comments. Some of you have started early this morning on some comments.
It's going to be a very easy show for me, by the way. I'm going to go ahead and preface that. I have a couple of things I'd like to tee Brett Pritchard up on, and I shall do that here shortly, and I'm not going to have to say a lot in this second hour, so we'll go ahead.
I don't know. I may have exhausted everything I can say this week on Auburn Blitz, but Scott said the last 40 years Auburn has been an 8-win team, and then he goes in there and he shows that Dye won 8.25 games, had 4 10-win seasons, and went through the list of coaches. Luke comes back and said there's a flaw in your argument, Scott. Dye played 11 games a year, no SEC championship game. Gus plays at least 12 games, one more cupcake generally, and has a shot to win another in an SEC championship game. Now, Dye didn't have to deal with Saban, obviously, but Dye a pretty good coach in his day too. But he was tasked to build AU from scratch almost. True.
Of course he was.
So, I mean, comparing him, if Dye won 8.5 games a year with that, like Luke said, that's almost the equivalency of being, 8-9 wins back in the day when you only played 10 regular season games or 11 regular season games. I mean,
well, the 82, 83, depending on what year you want to start with, all the way up to the 89, that run's the best run of college football Auburn's ever put on the field in consistent form.
That's right.
We were a championship contender all of those years. We had a couple of years there where we didn't win up to what the expectations were in 84 and 85, but you still had a championship caliber team that you were putting out there on the field every year, and we haven't had that since. We have 10s, 13s, and a whole lot of mediocrity to go along with it. And so I think Coach Dye did it as well as anyone in my lifetime.
He was Auburn football to me.
Yeah.
Because that's who we grew up watching. So, good. It's good points all the way around. And, we sat on this program numerous times and argued back and forth about where Auburn should be and where they really are. And I pretty much broke it down for Andy on Auburn Blitz one day this past week. And, we just got to going through, and Auburn's 7-3, okay? And you lose three tough games, three of the best teams on your schedule. But if you want to start looking at who you actually beat, who Gus beat this year, I mean, you beat Kent State, you beat Tulane, you beat Ole Miss, you beat Mississippi State. You did have one quality win against Oregon, okay? And then
I'd call Texas A&M a quality
win.
Well,
it is a quality win on the road, but Texas A&M, look at them this year. Mediocre, okay? That's one of your top 2 wins is the Texas A&M and Oregon win. So when you add it all up and you see who Auburn's defeated, who have they really beaten? I mean, so the Georgia, the LSU game, and the Florida game are the 3, outside of Oregon, are the 3 toughest teams we've played, and our offense has been basically non-existent. Okay? Outside of a last drive against Oregon, Auburn was going to lose that game. So what if we were sitting here at 6-4 right now?
Oh, if we were sitting here at 6-4, there would be a lot more disgruntled fans than there actually are, and I'd go out on a limb and say there's a majority of Auburn fans are numb to it at this point.
So the point we're all making is who you beating. Yeah, I mean, Luke makes a good point about the way schedules are now in this modern age. You got 3 cupcake games basically sandwiched all the way through your schedule, and
then you're going to play 3 or 4 SEC squads.
I forgot to mention that we beat Arkansas. Excuse me.
That you will out recruit by 30 positions.
That's right.
Every year.
That you should be winning no problem anyway. That's
at Auburn.
That's it.
Yeah.
So I saw the best tweet this week. Guy put out there, well, the seller for Auburn is 8-4. at this program with the 3 cupcakes and the rest of the SEC programs you got to play year in and year out, that you're that much better than, unless you have a hiccup like Auburn did against Tennessee last year, you're 8-4. So your program is gauged by the Georgias, the Alabamas, the LSUs, whoever the SEC East opponent is that you might play that might be tough in a Florida or an out-of-conference opponent like an Oregon, right?
Yes.
Okay, so right now Auburn is 1-3 against those teams with 1 game left that matters. Now, again, they got to come out and win. They'll beat Sanford. They'll move to 8 wins, but that's not a shocker here. You know, we knew the schedule was going to be tough. We said that before, but we could all see 8 wins on the schedule before everybody kicked the thing off, before the season started. And I know the weather's bad, and it'll probably predicate Auburn to run the football a lot. But it's like Jason Caldwell said, if Auburn comes out and runs the ball for 315 yards today against Sanford, what have you done? You know, you hadn't run it well against any of the top defenses. Gus's comment in the press conference this week is, well, you know, against Georgia, referring to Georgia's defense, well, that's a good defense over there. It's one of the top defenses in the country. Well, no kidding. Well, all the teams that you play that compete for a playoff spot are going to have tough defenses. And what that has proven is, or what you've proven is, your offense can't work or doesn't work anymore against top defenses. So it equals L's in the win-loss column. I mean, there's no answer to it, man.
Well, you know, you can go and you can listen to him being on air and in press conference and say that we're a run, play action, pass team. Well, here's true numbers. In 2013, against FBS teams that had winning, they have winning records. FBS winning record teams since 2013, we averaged 290-plus yards rushing a game. In 2014, we averaged 250-plus yards rushing per game. In 2015, which is really a shock, but in 2015, we averaged 230 rushing yards
Last
per
year
game.
was what was shocking.
No, it's been going down consistently.
Yeah, but it was 102 yards.
16, I think we go down to 100. 17, which we had a good passing game, but still went down to like 150. Last year, yes, 102. And then this year, we're not much better than that against FBS teams with a winning record, and which is the only thing that we should weigh ourselves on here at Auburn. So we have gone from 290-plus down to, let's just say, 120 on average. So we're rushing the football for 170 yards less than we were. And the one thing I have a problem with what you say that I wish you'd stop saying is that we haven't changed our offense. Yes, we have. The identity that we had in 13 and 14 was we had a mobile running quarterback that was going to run that thing 15 times.
What I mean is they still run. He hasn't
Same
changed
plays.
the schemes.
But the identity is totally
Gotta get the
different,
break.
Brett.
Yeah, I totally agree. I want you to keep going when we come back. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice. Bice Motors.
Hey Realtors, do you know about LMG Ad Agency? We build your brand and help sell your properties or a unique lifestyle so you can focus on your clients. We focus on professional photos, videos, aerial photography and videography, and commercial real estate. We'd love to tell your story. Contact us today at 256-392-4250 or visit our website at lmgadagency.com.
Hey, slow down, buddy. This ain't Talladega, and that race car driver's number on your back window, you ain't him. Truth is, just 10 miles over the speed limit, and your chances of killing someone are 4 times higher. So forget the number on your window and memorize the one on that orange prison jumpsuit. Stop speeding before speeding stops you.
Drive safe, Alabama. A message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
You already know the power and reliability of a Mahindra tractor. Get ready to meet their ATV and UTV lines. Haul more and tow more. Do more. Reaching speeds up to 60 miles an hour. Models have a 12-inch ground clearance and the ability to haul up to 1,200 pounds. There's a Mahindra utility vehicle and a model specifically to get the job done. Test drive today at Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor. Serving Tallapoosa, Coosa, Clay, and Talladega counties. 256-392-3613.
Alex City Marines, located on Cherokee Road in Alexander City, and the Yerkes invite you by to see what they have available today. The 2020 Manitous and Landaus are in, and boy, are they gorgeous. Also, some great deals on demos. Take advantage of that while they last. Alex City Marine also is doing shrink wrapping, storage. Get in line now. In fact, call this number, 256-215-FISH. Alex City Marine, Alex City.
Hi, I'm Kurt Bowman, General Manager of Vaden Toyota. We'd like to announce our new lifetime warranty on any new Toyota.
Hashtag lifetime warranty.
Hashtag we love our customers.
It can be used nationwide at no additional cost. Hashtag customer service. So come on by and let us show you the Vaden way.
Hashtag maintenance matters.
Hashtag totally awesome.
Vaden Toyota of Sylacauga, just a short drive from home or online.
Hashtag your neighborhood dealership.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown here in hour number 2, talking college football, talking about the Gus Malzahn enigma of who he is. We had Jason Caldwell on yesterday from inside the Auburn Tigers on Auburn Blitz, and I just simply asked him because, once again, Gus Malzahn skirted the question of one of the reporters on the run game. Why are we struggling to run the football so mightily? And he basically said, well, that's good defense over there. You know, Georgia's just went on to compliment Georgia, and that's fine, but it's not answering the question of why we're struggling. It doesn't matter if it's Georgia. Substitute any other good, competitive, playoff possible bound team into that slot, and then all of a sudden you get the same results. Auburn's averaging what, 20 points a game against top defense?
Less than that.
19, 18,
in the
something like that.
3 losses, 18.5 points per game.
It's not going to get it done. Your defense has given up the most it's given up in a game this year is 24 points. And you've lost 3 games. So, yes, it looks close because your defense has helped you. So, if you had an average to mediocre defense, you'd be getting your doors blown off. This is a Georgia team that had a quarterback complete 13 passes the whole game for 110 yards. And you lost. You were down 21-0 going into the fourth quarter. So I asked Jason, why can't we run the football? He said, well, these offensive linemen aren't road graders. They're not good in the run game. They're more pass block type linemen. Well, didn't he recruit those guys? Did Gus recruit those guys?
Yep.
What about the development of the run of the offensive line? Is that on J.B. Grimes? Is that his responsibility?
Along with the head coach.
Along with the head coach. So Gus Malzahn preaches run first, play action, pass team, and he's got 5 offensive linemen that can't run block. How many times have we been in 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, 4th and 1 this year and didn't get it? I know 4 times at Florida we did. Ran up the middle, didn't get it. We have no push at all. There's no Braden Smith on this offensive line. Can't figure out who the center is. It's been musical chairs. Nick Brahms, Caleb Kim, Nick Brahms. I think Nick Brahms has kind of pretty much solidified himself now as a center, but it's just back and forth. It's just struggled on the offensive line. And we knew going into the season, we had somebody that was going to the scrimmages and the practices, telling us inside information, telling us the talk from the coaches. In the meeting that J.B. Grimes had on the side after the first scrimmage with the offensive line, and he looked at all of them and said, if we don't play any better than this, we won't win anything. And so we knew the offensive line was a point of contention this year, and they've been mediocre, and that's why we have mediocre results.
Yeah, here's my most disappointing part of all of this is we are in a lot of the same positions that we were in when Gus Malzahn was the offensive coordinator. where you look over and you go, gosh, we are so good in that one facet of the game.
Yep.
If we could fix the rest of this and become a little bit better than mediocre at these other parts of the game, we could be special.
Yeah.
And then we go and we get Gus Malzahn as the head coach, and in 13 and 14, he looks exactly like we expect, an offensive guru.
Yep.
And this is where I always get caught up in wanting to defend Gus Malzahn to a point. Well, he's the head coach that helped us flip this thing defensively. He brought in Kevin Steele. He brought in the other pieces on that defensive staff that have changed this up. But I also have to go back again and go, my gosh, why can't we put it all together at the same time? Because we do have such a great defense, and I do feel great about the staff. But I'm almost in the same position I was in when Gus Malzahn took over the reins, where I'm going, man, Kevin Steele, this defensive staff for Auburn, keep them in place and somehow find us someone that can coach us up on the offensive side of the ball, and we may be special again because the recruiting shows that. And I want that to be Gus Malzahn. I really do, because I like the guy.
Yeah.
But I don't know that he's going to get out of his own way on the offensive side anymore, and there's too many numbers since 15 that prove that Auburn fans have a justification for going, are we going to get offense turned around again?
At some point in time, though, time tells you all you need. And the further we move away from 13 and 14, the further away from that offense we move. Because he ain't been back to it since. That's just not who he is anymore. That ship left port a long time ago. We got 7 years of a sample of Gus Malzahn. That's pretty good for a coach in this day and age, for somebody to stay 7, 8, 9 years somewhere at the same school. And we're all sitting here waiting for next year to see if it's going to get different. And then when we get to the end of the year, we go, is next year going to be any different? Why, I asked Andy this week, is it a problem that every single year this time of year we ask, is Gus Malzahn's job in trouble? Is he in trouble? Is that a problem that every single year this time of year we're asking that question? We've been doing it for the last 3 years. That's been the problem. Since 15, 13, 14, of course 14 you come back is a little disappointing, but you knew that you had offense, you had to come in and try to fix it with a defense. So we were all enamored of trying to go out and get Will Muschamp, right? You remember that? And we had Jeremy Johnson coming in, so everything's going to be fine. We're going to build. Ever since 15, man, we have had this conversation on this program every single time.
And numbers don't lie, Brett.
Every single time.
We did last week, we went through the numbers, and I could pull all of those up again. But if you go back to those numbers after the 14 season and you look at them, especially the passing game numbers. Passing game numbers, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say nationally we've been average about 80th in the country in passing yards and efficiency. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that's fair.
17 was an outlier, but even in 17,
Jared Stidham saved that year.
Even in 17, we were like 40 or 50th nationally and 6th in the SEC. That was the best case scenario. So, I mean, if there's a part of you that believes that if we're going to be this dynamic passing offense with Bo Nix, who I think is a pro, I am not throwing any shade towards Bo Nix. I'm a big fan of Bo Nix. I just don't trust this system. I don't trust this identity, and I don't trust these offensive coaches to get us to where Bo Nix could take this squad if he got Joe Brady to come over with a passing offensive attack like they did at LSU and change the whole thing around. They got beat 29-0 at home to Alabama last year.
And then
they scored 46 on the road at Alabama this year with the exact same quarterback in there to play, with just a different scheme offensively. And I think that Gus Malzahn, if he would turn over the reins, we could probably get
And that cues the question from Justin as we go to our next break. Why not bring Chad Morris in? We'll talk about that when we come back as well. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
We're ready for back to school, even if you aren't ready. Purchase any Napa Automotive battery and receive $25 back by mail at Napa Auto Parts.
Your comfort is our #1 concern. Advanced heat and air.
With the hot summer season just around the corner, it's time to decide if your current air conditioning system will keep you cool this year. Call Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning for a free estimate on a brand new energy-efficient Trane heat pump system for your home or business. Your comfort is our #1 concern. Call Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning at 256-234-5052.
WOTM, your new home for high school sports in Alabama. The road to Jordan-Hare goes through WOTM every Friday night with live playoff coverage. Tune in to WOTM this Friday with the Class 7A South semifinal. Auburn traveling to Phoenix City to take on the defending state champion Central Red Devils. The broadcast will also feature live in-game highlights and updates from the 7A North semifinal featuring the Hoover Bucks and the Thompson Warriors. Stay with WOTM December 4th through 6th for exclusive TV coverage of the Super 7 live from Jordan-Hare.
Life is a sequence of little successes. The story of my Southern Union success began the day I walked on campus, making new friends, mastering a new skill, reaching a personal goal, the encore performance, the first date, the internship, and now, soon, the dream job. That's the story of my Southern Union success. Register for classes and get ready to watch your Southern Union story come to life.
Growing your business isn't just one thing, it's a million little things. Should you lease, rent, or own? How fast can you get that part? Does it fit the budget? That's what your local Cat dealer is here for. With expert advice, flexible financing, and industry-leading equipment, you can get the job done, day after day. Visit ThompsonCat.com, your compact equipment provider.
The Prestige Selection at Gill's Auto Sales in Opelika has the largest selection of prestige cars, trucks, and SUVs in Central and East Alabama, all with financing available, little to no money down, and extended warranties. Get pre-qualified in under 2 minutes, online or from your mobile device at GillsPrestigeOnline.com. It's the Prestige Selection at Gill's Auto Sales, 1430 Gateway Drive in Opelika.
Grab a 5-quart jug of Napa conventional motor oil for only $12.99 for a limited time at Napa Auto Parts.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. Rainy Saturday for all of you traveling over to Tuscaloosa or traveling to Auburn. Be safe out there on the highways. Going to be raining maybe the whole game at Auburn, so it's going to be a miserable environment down there. Shift over and talk Alabama. Alabama got Western Carolina coming in today, no problem. 55-point favorites in that game. It's really kind of absurd, that Auburn and Alabama have to play these teams right before the Iron Bowl, but it's just kind of a warm-up game, go through the motions. The only thing you try to get out of that is not get anybody injured. Well, unfortunately for Alabama fans and Alabama as a team, last week was the most dejecting win that you can come away with. You beat Mississippi State handily, but the loss that you had in players was far greater than what the score was on the scoreboard. No Tua Tagovailoa, a hip injury that was compared to what Bo Jackson had that ended his career. Now, the surgery went well. They feel like 100% recovery, but, man, it's a long road back when you do something like that.
And it's a sad situation because if you've watched and seen how he's carried himself throughout the week after, a tough thing happened to you in your life. I mean, look, this is his final year, looking to win a national championship and potentially a Heisman Trophy, and you have something like that go on in a 2-minute offense when your team's way up.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know how the conversation went on the sideline, but I've seen the same video all of you have seen. I go back outside. I'm working around in my yard, and I'm watching television before I walk outside, and it's Tua walking up and down the sideline on the bench, shaking everybody's hand. And the broadcasters are saying, well, that'll be it for Tua today. He's put on a show already, and he deserves to go on off in the sunset and take him a little break and get ready for that Iron Bowl matchup in a couple of weeks. Well, I go out and start working, and my mom, who is a massive Alabama fan, comes out upset that something's happened to Tua. She's down at our house watching the game, and when she comes out, I said, he's out of the game. What are you talking about? He couldn't have gotten hurt. And then I see that same video on the sideline where they're going into 2 minutes, and Tua's really pleading his case.
Yeah.
Looks like he's got Nick Saban's ear just pleading.
Yeah.
And we've all been in this position where we're playing and you don't think things can go badly for you, and I don't want to come out. I think of times when I've really pitched the ball well, and you're into the 5th or 6th inning and a coach wants to pull you out from pitch count, and you don't want to give up a chance to, please don't take me out when things are going like this.
Yeah.
And you could sense and you could see Nick Saban's expression on the sideline, like, I don't really want to hear this, but okay. I'm going to let y'all talk me into this, it looks like. Yeah. And has anything else come out from that discussion that was – I kind of figured once Tua got to a mic, he would say, look, this is the way this went down. Nobody –
He didn't really say anything about it.
Yeah. But he's handled himself so well. And it's a sad situation.
It is. I mean, there's no other way to put it. I talked about it earlier this week. I mean, he's a class act. He is a great ambassador for college football.
Yes. Family is too.
You hate that his career ended that way, and you just hope, as talented as he is, he'll have a shot to play in the NFL, a legit shot, because again, you don't know what type of setbacks or the outcome's going to be from something like this. All the doctor can do is say the surgery went well, the prognosis is good, but you don't know until time goes by how that thing's going to play out. I mean, some recover really well and others don't. So we hope that he's able to move forward. And I've even heard people say, well, would he consider coming back to college next year instead of going to the NFL?
I would be shocked with that, but that
it's on the table.
I could see a potential of that if he still has aspirations of winning a Heisman and winning a national championship, which I know he won one, but he wasn't the main guy that got them there. He's the one that won it.
Yeah.
I think he was the reason they won it with the way that he played in the second half. But he never took a team where he was the leader and won a championship. So maybe that does feed to him. But, Brett, you bring up a point that I've always kind of thought about with athletics is the greatest of athletes sometimes struggle with injuries. And it's odd. And then other athletes seem to never get hurt. So I go to Bo Jackson for us Auburn fans.
Yep.
Who in the world knows what Bo Jackson would have been as a college football player if he stays injury-free during his stretch at Auburn? But he's like Tua. Whole time he's at Auburn, you just sitting around wondering if you're going to get the best version or what are you going to get? And that was all the way through his senior year. And then I think into the pros, and I think of Walter Payton and Brett Favre, who they never missed games. They took one hit after another. Walter Payton practically led the team, touched the football 70% of the time, I think, within his first 3 or 4 years there for the Bears, because they were terrible when he came on the scene.
Yep.
Never hurt. Ran the football harder than anyone. Tough as nails, the reason I think he's the best NFL football player we've ever had. And never gets hurt. And then you get a Tua type.
Yeah.
Tua's always hurt. Tua always has something going on, and that's not a knock on him.
No,
because
it's just,
Bo Jackson was the exact
that's
same
the same
way.
thing.
The best athlete of our lifetime in Bo Jackson, and had the same thing. It's very odd in athletics who doesn't get hurt and who can withstand the problems that you have and those that can't.
You're right. You talk about it all the time. I mean, just some people are prone to get injured.
Yeah.
And we know other players that we've been close to play in college. It seemed like the least little thing would be a nick and it'd keep them out for a game or whatever. And others can run through a brick wall and never come out with a scratch.
Yep.
So it's just the genetic makeup, I guess. It's just how your body is. So unfortunately for Alabama, they won't have Tua the rest of the way out. What does that do for them? Well, obviously, for them to be in the hunt for the playoffs, they've got one more game they need to take care of business in, and that's the Iron Bowl. If they can come in with Mac Jones to Jordan-Hare Stadium, we'll talk more about this when we come back from this coming up break. But if he's able to come in and navigate them to a win, no matter what the score is, I mean, Alabama is still sitting there with one loss to the team that's number one in the country.
I do think that how they play in the Iron Bowl is going to.
Yeah, but you don't have to. But you don't have to.
That's my point, though. I think ultimately, whenever that committee goes in there and they're making a decision on Alabama and Oregon, what Alabama looks like when Mac Jones at quarterback
well, if they get the win over Auburn at home and Oregon lost on a neutral field to Auburn.
Yeah, true, but you're also trying to make the case for what, 3 teams maybe from the SEC getting in, at least 2. Because you're not going to send an
Georgia's
Alabama.
not going to make it in if they lose to LSU.
But if they beat LSU.
Well, if they beat LSU, it's a whole different conversation because they've got 1 loss now, and it's a bad one. You brought that up. It's a horrible loss at home to South Carolina.
But if they win the
SEC
championship,
championship,
they're going in over Alabama.
And then LSU's going to go in because that's be their only loss.
So you were going to have to make a case to send.
Well, I think Alabama's out at that scenario.
I think the only way that they would be in, though, is what they look like in the Iron Bowl.
Yeah.
If they come to Auburn and beat us by 2 touchdowns, that could change the perception. But they almost need to win a game.
What about Oregon
like
in this whole deal? I mean, Oregon's sitting there, Pac-12 has yet to get a team in the playoff.
I think Oregon's going to get in, Brett, because that was the first game of the season. They had a lot of chances to win. I think that if it comes down to 1 loss there and a 1-loss Alabama team that maybe wins by 3 points or 7 points.
But they'll be arguing. Alabama fans will be arguing.
They
that
argue all they want. I think they're going to lose that argument this year, though.
Up against another break. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
We're ready for back to school, even if you aren't ready. Purchase any Napa Automotive battery and receive $25 back by mail at Napa Auto Parts.
Your comfort is our #1 concern. Advanced heat and air.
With the hot summer season just around the corner, it's time to decide if your current air conditioning system will keep you cool this year. Call Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning for a free estimate on a brand new energy-efficient Trane heat pump system for your home or business. Your comfort is our #1 concern. Call Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning at 256-234-5052.
WOTM, your new home for high school sports in Alabama. The road to Jordan-Hare goes through WOTM every Friday night with live playoff coverage. Tune in to WOTM this Friday with the Class 7A South semifinal. Auburn traveling to Phoenix City to take on the defending state champion Central Red Devils. The broadcast will also feature live in-game highlights and updates from the 7A North semifinal featuring the Hoover Bucks and the Thompson Warriors. Stay with WOTM December 4th through 6th for exclusive TV coverage of the Super 7 live from Jordan-Hare.
Life is a sequence of little successes. The story of my Southern Union success began the day I walked on campus, making new friends, mastering a new skill, reaching a personal goal, the encore performance, the first date, the internship, and now, soon, the dream job. That's the story of my Southern Union success. Register for classes and get ready to watch your Southern Union story come to life.
Growing your business isn't just one thing, it's a million little things. Should you lease, rent, or own? How fast can you get that part? Does it fit the budget? That's what your local CAT dealer is here for. With expert advice, flexible financing, and industry-leading equipment, you can get the job done, day after day. Visit ThompsonCat.com, their compact equipment provider.
The Prestige Selection at Gill's Auto Sales in Opelika has the largest selection of prestige cars, trucks, and SUVs in Central and East Alabama, all with financing available, little to no money down, and extended warranties. Get pre-qualified in under 2 minutes, online or from your mobile device at GillsPrestigeOnline.com. It's the Prestige Selection at Gill's Auto Sales, 1430 Gateway Drive in Opelika.
Grab a 5-quart jug of Napa conventional motor oil for only $12.99 for a limited time at Napa Auto Parts.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. Again, I want to thank Sunshine Heating and Air and JR Sports Bar and Grill for their long-time support of our program. We'll move over to the Iron Bowl. Again, Western Carolina at Alabama, Sanford at Auburn today. You just kind of get through those games and you move on to the Iron Bowl next week. Seen an early line, a 2-point favorite for Alabama. Mm-hmm. That would have been a 10 or 12-point favorite if Tua was playing. Significantly changes the game as far as from Auburn's perspective and Alabama's perspective. How does Nick Saban approach this game with Mac Jones' first road start being in the Iron Bowl? It's a tough environment.
Well, he is selling the media, which he ends up having to do this time of year after they have a loss. He's selling the media on that they're gonna, corral around one another and come out united and trying to, go out and win a championship without Tua. And, here's the big question mark for Nick Saban that shocked me with that LSU game. I never would have believed that a Nick Saban-led defense, and I think that's what he does and that's what he brings from a coaching standpoint, back in the secondary, would have gotten exposed as much as they did against LSU, because it's never happened really, especially with 2 weeks heading into a championship caliber football game, maybe in a bowl game. It's never really happened. But it did in that one. So I think they've got a lot to prove against this Auburn team. This is not an Alabama defense that's 7-8 years ago. This is a subpar Alabama defense. But I think he does have a lot to prove. Can he prove it against a subpar Auburn offense? That's where it's all
that's where it balances. That's where it balances.
And I think the first team 20 wins this thing.
Well, again, Auburn, most they've given up in the game's 24 this year.
Yep.
They can't even, they can't get over the hump in those games where your defense is playing that well. So it's going to come down to Gus Malzahn and this offense. Can they navigate up and down the field enough to score points? Can they get in can they execute in the red zone? This is another problem. And Anders Carlson, has he missed his last 4 attempts over the last couple games? I know he missed that one against Georgia and then have another opportunity, but what used to be a surefire bet, a locked in stone point getter, now isn't so much. You don't get down inside the 40-yard line or 35-yard line and count 3 points on the board for Auburn anymore. Like you said, they've got a kicker that's a head case right now. That's something we've been accustomed to seeing with Alabama, and Alabama's still got their kicking woes as well. But Auburn's got to cash the ball in. They got to get in the end zone and quit trying to worry about settling for field goal attempts if you're going to beat anybody worth their salt. And Alabama, again, comes in with a quarterback that I think people are underselling a little bit.
I do too.
I think Mac Jones is a very,
serviceable guy.
He is. And I don't like – I was going to use that term, and I just think he deserves maybe a little bit – we'll see. Hey, maybe he deserves a little bit more credit than that, because, the backup always kind of gets that term played on. Well, game manager, he's serviceable. That guy. I think the guy can make some plays. Will Nick Saban be comfortable enough on the road to let Mac Jones kind of run that offense the way Tua ran it?
I think he's going to have to.
Yep.
Because there's no part of me that thinks that Najee Harris or that running game for Alabama without a mobile
Najee Harris has gotten better over the last 3 weeks.
Still is no part of me that thinks that if it's just the running backs that they're going to run the football for 150 yards against Auburn. You believe that?
No, I don't think so.
So they're going to have to throw it. And they got the guys.
Well, they got the receiving core is still there.
That's my point, and I think you have to take advantage of where your talent lies, and their talent still lies at the receiving core, so you're going to have to go win it or lose it with Mac Jones trying to get it out to those receivers. So when your question is, do you think Nick Saban will open it up and let him do it, I don't think he has a choice. I don't think they can run the football at Jordan-Hare right at Auburn and score 20-plus points. Don't believe it'll happen. I think they got the receivers to make enough big plays to win a game like that. So, but you got to be able to throw it, and I think Jones can too.
Talked to your dad mentioned this yesterday to me, and he said, I know what Auburn can do when they put a game together offensively. You can look at, and I know it was Purdue, and I know there's some other examples, but that's out there. That's still hanging out there in the corner of the room that scares other defenses. It scares other teams. That they know that if they can somehow get rolling. That Auburn's hard, almost impossible to beat when that offense is rolling. Can Malzahn and this offense find itself in 2 weeks? That's the question. They hadn't shown it yet against a top-ranked opponent. Now, 2 of those games were on the road. Okay, LSU and Florida. But let's be honest about it. Auburn played better on the road than they did against Georgia at home. They were down 21-0 going into the fourth quarter. So I don't want to hear about being at home and being on the road. They actually had a better chance to win those games, in my opinion, than they did against Georgia, because all Georgia did in the fourth quarter is play the clock. They're up 3 scores. They just didn't want to give Auburn something over the top to give them a quick score in a minute to kind of erase one of those scores they had. They just were content with letting Auburn they went in a soft zone, went in there and let them hit them underneath and gave them a few runs and let them run the clock, and they just ran out of time.
What you just said to start that whole 3 minutes that you just went on is the most frustrating thing about being an Auburn fan. I can't say it any better than you did. Yeah, it's out there.
It's out there.
It's out there. It's like a little carrot that's dangling out there that you're trying.
And it could pop up at any time.
Oh, it could pop up at any time. But unfortunately, you have no earthly idea how to bet on it, how to guess when it's going to pop up, how to feel like that you got an identity that you can lean back on that's going to consistently be there for you. It is so, I'm numb to it at this point. I have no idea what we're going to get. So all I have to do is to go on what the past has proven. What the past has proven to me right now is since 15, we sometimes get that, but it's usually against a bad team. A good football team, we never hardly get it.
It never comes out.
When's the last really good football team that we got a performance like that against?
First half LSU in 17.
Yep.
Up 20 points. Up 20 points.
Because I would say the Alabama game in 17 that we won was a defensive win.
There was.
Agree? And
we did put 26 points on the board.
We put 26 points on the board, and Carry-On really played well, but it was not.
It wasn't stellar. It wasn't some.
And maybe you would say the Georgia game where we scored 40 that year could be, but
that's it. That's the last.
And that's
one.
what saved his job. Those 2 games that we bring up, those have been few and far between since 15. And look at the records. What's Auburn's record against their top 3 opponents?
6-15.
6-15.
With no wins on the road.
And we ain't won on the road in LSU since '99, and we have now lost 12 of 15 to Georgia.
It's just
12 of 15
that's
to
unacceptable.
Georgia.
That's unacceptable. So, up against our final break of the program. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Skag, the toughest name in lawnmowers. Unmatched quality and performance for over 3 decades. The clear choice, the best mower money can buy for work or at home. Top lawn care professionals and discerning homeowners know that Skag means productivity and reliability. Every Skag mower is proudly built right here in the USA. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best. Skag.
Satterfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City.
Hey, it's Steve from the Car Stereo Shop in Auburn, and after 10 years of serving the good people of East Alabama and West Georgia, we're still doing business the same way, offering the best products at the best prices with the area's best warranties and installing them with the area's best technicians. With great customer service, a knowledgeable sales staff, and our commitment to customer satisfaction, along with the best selection of the latest technology in the industry, there's no reason to shop anywhere else. Shop with confidence. Shop at the Car Stereo Shop in Auburn.
Folks around these parts have known for a long time that Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280, is your #1 stop for automotive service and repair. At Walls Tire, you'll always find quality service at a fair price on everything from AC, name brand tires, big or small repairs, routine maintenance, towing, and more. When your car or truck needs to run right, there's one place in the area to go, conveniently located and easy to find. Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280.
At Russell Medical, our transitional care unit is a great alternative to nursing home care after a medical or surgical hospital stay. Transitional care increases strength and endurance through skilled nursing and therapy programs to promote a safe return home. Enjoy on-site therapy, private rooms, an activity center, and more. Call Russell Medical today to see if our transitional care unit is the right care for you.
Finding a job might be tough, but starting your new career has never been easier. Wellborn Cabinet in Ashland has a wide array of career opportunities with benefits. General labor production, skilled cabinet builders, product assembly line, shipping, over-the-road truck drivers, clerical, marketing, security, daycare, office clerks, and so much more. Apply in person, 38669 Highway 77 South in Ashland, or online at wellborn.com. Building cabinets, building careers, and building our community.
Since the dawn of time, mankind has needed tools. But not all tools are created equal. AGF Machine Rental Sales and Service has tools for all commercial construction or big residential projects. AGF Machinery offers the most durable and hardworking brands of ASV, Skyjack, and Wacker Neuson. Aerial lifts, scissor lifts, loaders, excavators, and forest equipment on demand for the best possible price. And backed by the Southeast's best team of professionals. Visit any of our strategic locations across Alabama for all your equipment needs. Or online at agfmachinery.com.
Welcome back, everyone. Final segment of the program. Make sure you have your canoe or your boat or whatever ready if you're going outside. Today, a lot of rain in the area. Went 3 months with no rain, dry as dust. Everything had shriveled up and it felt like you're in the desert, and now it seems like it rains every weekend. So we knew it would catch up. Talk some Auburn basketball, some Alabama basketball here to close out. What can you say? Auburn off to a 5-0 start here. Sign the first top 10 class in history with Sharif Cooper and Chris Moore and Justin Powell coming in. And, Bruce Pearl just has this Auburn program somewhere you and I never thought we'd ever see.
Yep, and on the opposite side with Nate Oates, Avery Johnson left him
nothing.
He left him some talent, but he left him a tough schedule.
Left him a player or two.
That's true.
I wouldn't say a lot of talent.
But that schedule that he's having to go through, Brett,
it's brutal.
My gosh,
brutal.
Go on the road and play at Rhode Island. What does anybody want to go do that unless you've got unless you have a team that you think is going to be competing for championships and you want to throw. You want to put them through the ringer here in the early part of the season without any worry whatsoever if they lose a few games. Don't they have North Carolina coming up?
That's their next opponent on Wednesday. They play at 1:30 in the Bad Boy Motors battle for Atlantis. So
I think you got to tap the brakes if you're an Alabama fan. Don't get upset with the early part of this season. Give Nate Oates plenty of time to build
North Carolina.
Why would you even? This is Alabama basketball, but I know that. That Avery Johnson may be expected to have a team to a different level than when he finally.
He was trying to schedule for the future, and you want some of those tougher opponents on your schedule in the preseason to kind of help with that RPI or whatever. But for the most part, he left Nate Oates with a tall task. Auburn's next opponent, New Mexico, 8:30 in Brooklyn. For the tournament, the Legends Classic. This will be the first test, in my opinion, for Auburn. New Mexico 5-1. They usually have a good basketball program. 75% chance to win this game, according to ESPN, for Auburn. But you are in a neutral site. New Mexico will again be the best, I think, opponent that Auburn has played to this point. So we'll see.
I'll believe it when I see it that Auburn in a venue like that doesn't play well and doesn't run away with this one. Now, the next matchup, which happens to look like it could be Wisconsin, that's going to be a brand of basketball that should be fun and a really good matchup for Auburn in the early going because Wisconsin will want to play that grinded-out basketball that they have, and they've become one of the best at it and have become a championship caliber program due to that. So I think that's a really interesting matchup, but I'm thrilled with what we're seeing. How can you not be? It's almost I'm numb to football at this point, but I can't wait for the next Auburn basketball game. And even if we happen to lose a few, it's just a product that's so much fun to watch. Their willingness to defend full length.
That's right.
How hard we play, and I'm going to say this, how hard Bruce Pearl and his staff coaches. Even when we're up by 50, they are coaching like we're down 10 with 5 minutes to play, and we got to figure out how to get back in it. It's such a breath of fresh air.
It is a breath of fresh air, and just some games around the country. Obviously today, Penn State at Ohio State. That game kicks off at 11 o'clock, so that'll be an early one. The college football slate is pretty putrid. Excuse my slip there. Just a putrid schedule. I mean, nothing really to look at. Oregon at Arizona State later on today, but just not a lot to talk about much, and especially in the SEC. But that's going to wrap it up here for the Saturday Sports Countdown. We appreciate all of you out there watching and listening every single Saturday. We'll be back with you again this time next week. For Randy Lee, I'm Brett Pritchard saying we've enjoyed it. We hope you have. See you next week.
Growing your business isn't just one thing. It's a million little things. Should you lease, rent, or own? How fast can you get that part? Does it fit the budget? That's what your local Cat dealer is here for. With expert advice, flexible financing, and industry-leading equipment, you can get the job done day after day. Visit ThompsonCat.com, your compact equipment provider.
Attention! Opelika Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Task Force, reporting for duty, sir.
Okay, people, it's time to get serious. Serious savings on our entire inventory. Earl, what do we got?
Big savings, Sergeant. Save up to $15,000 off during the summer clearance event.
Excellent.
No payments till 2020. And credit amnesty.
Bring home $350 a week, you get up to $30,000 in credit. Outstanding!
All roads lead to Opelika. Opelika Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, just 25 minutes from Columbus. Call 800-NEXT-RIDE or Opelika Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram.com.
Okay, somebody's not wearing their seatbelt.
I don't wear seatbelts. Might wrinkle my shirt.
That's okay. I'm sure they can iron it before the funeral.
What funeral?
Yours. Almost 70% of people who die in car crashes aren't wearing a seatbelt.
Okay. There. You happy?
Just happy to be alive.
Seatbelts. It's hard to live without them. Drive safe, Alabama. A message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
What's behind the CA?
A world full of opportunities.
Where are you now? Where are you going?
Where do you want to be?
These are all important in determining your path in life.
More importantly, why be ordinary
when you can be extraordinary?
At Central Alabama Community College, you can be anything you wish to be.
Don't put your future on hold and don't settle for less than excellence.
We are Central Alabama Community College.
Central to you.
Central to your success.
Auburn Opelika has that perfect something for you. From sophisticated chic boutiques to exceptional dining, there's a retailer or restaurant to make your next visit special. Whether it's elegant fine dining or freshly squeezed lemonade, you'll find the perfect fit for every taste and budget. The food's great and the shopping is too, so be sure to check out the wide array of gifts, decor, clothing, and more. For every occasion, Auburn Opelika has what you're looking for. Let's make your next trip memorable. Visit Auburn Opelika.
So, you may not know it, but you've seen our work everywhere. For a combined 50 years, SignSource has been Central Alabama's premier option for all your sign needs. Custom signs for your business, club, or organization. Wraps and decals for your vehicle or boat. Full-color banners for your big sale, or a photo collage on canvas for grandma. All with fast, friendly, prompt service. Check out our website at signsourcenow.com. 888-533-6758. Go straight to the source. SignSource.